GMGM, ladies, gentlemen, and fantasy top enjoyers, one and all. Welcome to another exciting and very special episode of Fantasy Top Down today. I am one half of your hosting duo, Silva Surger. My much more handsome, much better accent counterpart, Ezrin, is still on holiday this week, but we expect him back next week. But in the meantime, I am joined by a very, very, very special guest, the one and only man behind the curtain, the man who makes all the magic happen in Fantasy Top, 710.eth. Welcome, 710. How are you doing this morning, brother?
Morning, good. Busy, tired, excited. Constant different emotions all the time.
I mean, I know obviously you're a part of the team. You make so much of it happen, so much of the magic there. But I feel like that's exactly what I go through, during the week as I'm watching my spots go up and down on the leaderboard for fantasy.
Yeah, it's no matter wherever, it's just constant. It's just fun. Yeah, no matter what with fantasy, it's ups and downs everywhere, but you always find yourself right back ready to do it again the next week.
Yes, sir. I mean, I think it was last week I had my best ever finish in gold. I was top 20, I think. And then, I was like, all right, gonna build on that, do even better this week. And of course, it's the week Pentoshi scores a big fat 0. So we did not follow that up very well.
Yeah, it's okay. It's we'll get it again next week. That's the fun of it. If it was too easy, then we wouldn't play it that much.
Bro, I mean that you put that on my tombstone, man. That's been my fantasy top and fantasy sports career, basically. And just even anecdotally, even funnier. Pentoshi goes all week without posting, and then the tournament closes off this morning around 7 a.m. our time. And look who tweets about 10 or 15 minutes later. The Penguin himself.
It's like, of course, the biggest crypto news of the year happens right after the tournament ends, and now everybody's all bull posting. So we're missing a DB tweet, and then we'll have the max pain for everyone.
the Infinity Stones of Zero, or top of the chart hero right there. You got Pentoshi, DB, and a few others. Oh man, and isn't that just the way it goes? Like you said, we have maybe the most bullish kind of news come out around around crypto all year, and it's mere minutes after the tournaments ended. That is max pain for me.
Yeah, and it's you doing sports betting and fantasy, it's just timing and stuff like that is just the pain. You get used to it, but it still always hurts, and you're like, but it's fun. It's you just kind of have to laugh it off every time and get ready for the next one.
Yep. Very wise words. I mean, if it were easy, we wouldn't still be doing it. And really, the highs, the lows, it's what I live for, right? The same reason I got into DFS, nearly a decade ago. This mimics it better than anything. And yeah, man, I'm ready to dig in. You ready?
Yeah, let's see what happened.
Yes, sir. All right, and thank you everyone for coming in the chat. See, we got a pretty lively crew this morning. Mr. Poopaloop, Esso, Blue the Dragon, D Pharma. We got a couple people dropping some questions we'll get to later on. So yeah, anyone here early on in the stream, drop your questions in chat for 710. Can't promise we'll be able to answer all of them, as some of them are super duper top secret alpha, of course, but we will do our best. Let's do it. Let's view some rewards. We got the tournament over. We got some ETH and some frags in the pipeline here. So let's claim some winnings and get to the fun part. I know that's what everyone's here for, right? They want to see us degen into the packs. They want to see they want to see a legendary Greg. Hint, 710. So if you could just dial that in the back end for us, that would be much appreciated.
Oh, I would. The conspiracies would go wild if that happened.
We need anything more on your plate, outside of what you already deal with. It's 710, conspiracist to the moon. All right, got Got it loading here, but taking a second. Might pull it up in another tab. Let's see. But yeah, as it's loading here, I can go ahead and say, oh, here we go. All right, open it up. We got 40K fan points, and as has been well established, one fantasy point is equal to $1. So a small $40,000 payday. We'll take that.
Not bad.
All right, not bad. Not bad for setting a lineup and letting some other influencer shitpost for me, eh? Let's see, 500 fragments, so that's looking decent. No, looks like no ETH this week. I know I was doing pretty well. Like I said, I was hoping this was going to be the lineup that took me to Valhalla, and honestly, I feel like it did pretty well. Based Carbon at 33rd place, Bread at 18, Waz 26, Makesy even as a 1-star coming in at 83. If Pentoshi would have given me anything, I would have been competing up there. But that's how the cookie crumbles some weeks.
I guess we got some slight errors with the rewards UI.
Oh, okay. You're right.
Maybe, we'll see. We'll get it. I think everybody should have the proper rewards delivered.
Yeah, Cap's shouting that out as well.
It's okay. A team will be on it and get everything resolved, so everybody can go back and double check their performance.
100%. Yeah. So yeah, because right here it's saying I got 52K fan instead of 40 and maybe 635 frags. But either way, I mean, that's something I've always appreciated about the team. And I feel like we try and give you guys your flowers every opportunity. 710. It's like there are some bugs here and there, and that's going to happen to any brand new app or Web3 product. But you guys have always been quick to fix it, and I mean, you never just let anything sit there. It's like, oh well, you ripped packs and nothing showed up in your inventory. Oh well, go kick rocks. It's like you guys do a great job about being on top of that.
No, yeah, it might not be right away, but it gets done, and it's not gonna let it go.
Yes, sir. Devs be deving. And yeah, so claimed about let's round up and say I got 600 frags like it showed me on the before we went to the rewards modal. And I got 1,000 sitting here because big little point here. I'm gonna come over to Twitter real quick. Come over to 710, the man, the myth, the legend himself. For anyone who might not have noticed, the fantasy grants went out earlier this week. I know we had kind of been waiting on them for a few days, a few weeks there, but we actually got our fantasy grant rewards. So got a nice little treat of midweek fragments and fantasy. So, thank you 710 for getting on top of that. And here we go. Here's the post. Remember this fantasy top fam? And you got the picture with all the little Play-Doh looking PFPs. So good.
Yeah, we finally, as I said, it might not be right away, but finally got those out, and then we'll be getting the USD sent out. Should be by tomorrow. And then, yeah, we're going to do another one soon. So hopefully we'll see.
Wow.
Hopefully it'll be special. It'll be cool.
That's amazing, man. That's great to hear. And I mean, I'm going to be honest, I kind of forgot about the USDC, but I want to say you broke some news live on stream right there. Looks like we might be getting the USDC rewards part of it, maybe tomorrow or in the next couple of days. So yeah, breaking news, folks. If you want a fantasy top grant from a few weeks ago, you might have a nice little stimmy that we can degen right back into packs again. But let's navigate back here. We're gonna buy because I'm not one for patience. I'm one for degenning. So we're gonna use all of our fragments right here. Which I will say that next week is the last week of season 3, so we'll have some new heroes coming through. So it might be a good idea to save some of this, but 710. I've never been one to be called a smart man, but I am a gambling man. So here we go.
Yeah, we can't pass up packs. It's it's like, especially when I used to rip a lot of Pokemon packs, you leave them sitting there and unopened, but then they're staring at you, and you're like, what if there's a Charizard in there?
I love that you say, that was kind of in your past life, whereas that's very much in me and Ezra's current life. We are huge kind of collectors of Pokemon and other TCGs. And when we get off of a stream, which we have weekly on Thursdays, we'll talk for, upwards of an hour just afterwards, like, so what did you rip this week? What did you get? And it's funny. And honestly, just a hat tip to you guys, how great of an experience you have built out, built making it so similar to, cracking some Pokemon packs and just having some fun that way. So that's I get that same dopamine rush here.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the better parts and something we can do a lot better on going forward. Top Shot was one of the big NFT moments, and I think a lot of that had to do, with the pack dopamine, euphoria feeling, and Pokemon obviously is very successful with that. So I know we brought the old pack animations back, and we're working on getting everything dialed in. But hopefully soon we can really spice up the kind of pack opening and make it a whole entire experience that isn't the same thing over and over.
Ooh, interesting. I feel like, that's not just a shot in the dark. That might be a little bit of a hint coming there. Interesting. I love that.
Yeah, I mean it's one of our best. I guess you'd say marketing, pieces, content pieces. You know, it's very powerful. Especially you see Fantario is getting back to his series with pack rips and stuff. So it's when there's something special like that, you can't let it go. You got to really build on top of it. Same thing with the free to play. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, man. Speaking of Fantardio, I saw that exact little clip he put together this morning. His first card out of the pack was a Whale 3 Mocha. I mean that's a GG right there. When you see him open that and he's got that little dollar value, it was right under $200 for that one card at kind of current market value. Like, it doesn't get more fun than that, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what we're here for. And then even though I mean those 10, 20, 50 bad packs you get, like it sucks, but that's what makes the big wins really worth it.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. Let's run through these. Starting off with a common Bruce. Okay. Ooh, a Zach.eth. Nice. Very usable. War Daddy Capital back from the dead. I kind of thought he was done haunting my nightmares, but that's okay. Wow. DB, the 1-star monkey himself. And 710. This is pretty significant for me because, I've been a fantasy player literally since day one, since testnet over on Blast. I have somehow never once pulled a DB card. This is the first one I've ever gotten.
There's no way.
Bro, I thought I would have said the same thing. Like, mathematically, that seems dang near impossible. But DB, be still my beating heart. Oh, I'm gonna treat you so well, baby.
Yeah, I have a feeling with today's announcement that he has some stuff geared up for next week. I think is the longer he doesn't tweet, the better odds of him finally tweeting are. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully it's a good omen for you going into next week.
Yes, sir. Yeah, like, and you can't count on him going like a 1 week on, 1 week off like you can with Makesy, but just that upside of being a 1-star who could literally finish first place if he felt like tweeting 3 or 4 times in a week. That, like, you just can't ignore that upside.
Yeah, the RR is too good on that one.
Ooh, all right, D. Two great cards in a row. Zach.eth, DB. Let's keep it rolling. All right, KNV got a couple of them. Might be close to upgrading to a rare for him. That'd be nice. Truth Terminal, our favorite AI of last year's past. Verse Laloon, another kind of wild card who more often than not a 1-star, but has actually finished in first place quite a few times. Like, he or she, they've got some bangers underneath their belt when they want to. So I also love that as kind of another high RR play, kind of what we're talking about with DB and even Makesy there.
Yeah, he's like like one of those receivers. Most of the time he's just getting like 0 or 1 catches a game, but one game a season, he'll go ahead and rip off like 3 catches for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, and everybody's like, "What?"
Bro, I feel like I feel like that's almost a little bit of a personal shot because somehow in a lot of the leagues I'm in with friends and coworkers and all that, it seems like I'm always playing against, the guy who has that one guy in their lineup that just decimates me and, never is seen again.
Yeah, it always happens in the playoffs too, and you're the number one seed, and it's just like it is what it is.
Man, and obviously you and I sounds like we're both pretty big into DFS and that sort of thing. The similarities here are just they couldn't be more striking, right? Like just DFS, this pack openings like Top Shot Pokemon, like all of this just works so well in concert. I mean, obviously you know how bullish I am, but fantasy to $1 might be an understatement. That's all I'm saying.
No, yeah, I mean it really like Twitter really is at this point. I mean, well, I guess more so CT, but it really is like an entertainment, like movies, TV, soap operas and stuff, and sports. Um, so yeah, it really does deliver that, with all the different human elements and the content. So I think, with InfoFi, this and that, but this like crypto Twitter is one of the very few things where you could actually, build a legit fantasy type, you know, platform on top of it, and it makes sense when you actually start going through it, and especially if you've been through sports and stuff.
Yep. I couldn't have said it better myself, man. It's all the pieces are there. We just gotta get the masses to take notice. And like I talked with Carpenter last week, I think being front and center on the new base app, having a partnership, partners like Jesse Pollock, who is really just kind of the best viral mouthpiece you could hope for. He does on the street content. He's doing plenty of shows, making media rounds. Like it's all coming together, man.
Oh no, yeah, his energy, it's electric, and it's very I'm blanking on the word, but it's very it passes on. Being around it makes you very excited. Um, and fantasy football, fantasy sports, that wasn't like an overnight thing. That was super small when I was playing in elementary school, and they started off doing it on paper and stuff, and so it's not a it's no matter what, it's not an overnight thing, but just that slow, that energy, those creators, that just natural where people just have fun with it and want to create and build on top of it. Um, you see the same thing, and so that's why we I think this is something that's really special.
Yeah, man, agreed. Funny, the biggest point I took from that little piece there, you were playing fantasy football in elementary school?
Yeah, I was fourth grade. I think was my first league. Um, I think I drafted. I remember I traded Chad Pennington right before he got hurt for Priest Holmes. Holmes ended up having some crazy season that year, and I think Pennington tore his ACL like game 2 or whatever. Um, but yeah, I mean, I had no idea what I was getting into. I love football and stuff, but that's where everything kind of the betting degenerate kind of took hold in terms of sports.
Brother, that is amazing. Like I mean, I was literally buying Pokemon cards and just being stupid as shit out on the playground, and here you are. I mean, Giga Brain playing fantasy sports. Like, wow, GG.
Yeah, so that's why I'm a big fantasy fan, and um, it's funny, just a lot of things in my life kind of led to this point, I feel, and it just it all converged here at Fantasy Top. So many different things about it, and so that's why I do love it so much. It's not just like some random thing. There's a lot of lore and history there.
That's amazing, dude. Yeah, like I love getting to meet and know the people behind some of these products that we use and truly love. Um, so I obviously we're getting a taste of that right now. A lot of the 710 lore, but man, we're gonna have to have you on and do another episode, or maybe even a whole entire other series on deep dives with community, creators, the team, like get to know, really their history and how they got here. Because I mean, truly, like that is fascinating to me that you were that plugged in at such a young age. Like it's fascinating, it's impressive, and honestly, it explains a lot about how you got to where you are right now.
Yeah. There's a lot. We'll get to it one day.
We shall indeed. But in the meantime, let's see what's behind the rest of these. Got a couple more cards here. After verse, we've got the bastard himself, Knower. God, I cannot wait till he is gone out of the game. No offense, but I mean, I don't know if you know some of my fantasy top lore with Knower 710. I've pulled one or two like epic cards out of pack rips, which like Jade packs, which super rare. I know how low the probability is, but one of them has been a knower. I've pulled rare knowers. The man haunts my nightmares.
It's funny, especially when they don't change their profile pictures. It's like eventually it just like starts to haunt you, and it carries over onto Twitter, and you start seeing them on the timeline, getting scared, and you're like, so it's funny how these profile pictures really like they burn that pain into you.
Bro, it's like imagine if you've seen the Stephen King movie with like the crazy kind of clown. I'd be fine. That guy could chase me around Derry all day long. I wouldn't bat an eyelash. But if you put Noah's little white mask, black blob instead of the it clown, well, I'm gonna be scared. I'm gonna be running as fast as I can away from those sewers.
That's your new sleep paralysis demon.
God, bro, please don't put that out there, man.
The worst. It's funny.
Oh my god. All right. After Noah, we've got another Terminal of Truths. Nice, getting two of those in 10 cards. Not bad. And then a Lawrence. Okay. So ultimately, nothing, no super high value cards here. Nothing, no Gregs or Ansems or Dip Wheelers or anything. But Zach, super usable card. I mean, he's liable to be a top scorer really any week he chooses. DB, as we know, can put the numbers in. KNV as well. Lawrence has had great weeks. I know he's been a little bit hit or miss more recently, but yeah, I'm a big fan of this pack rip. I've had way worse. I'll say that.
No, I think that DB will make it all worth it.
Seriously, and like this is something Ezra and I talk about. If we can just get one or even two like usable cards with some strong in-game utility, that's all I really ask for week in, week out. Like just build up that portfolio of strong usable cards, even if they're just mid-tier or the zero or hero plays like DB, one or two of those. And I mean you see it, it adds up and it rolls and rolls and rolls onward until you've got a couple hundred cards, and I mean then you've got more than you know what to do with.
Yeah, then it just comes down to your strategy and kind of game plan with it all. But just even having that upside of hitting, like a rare, epic, legendary in these weekly rewards, I think something that people kind of overlook. But just the consistency will put you in that position to be lucky when the time comes. So just got to keep at it.
Very, very well said, man. I mean, I think it might have been 2 or 3 weeks ago, our stream, Ezra and I mean, I had been on a pretty bad roll for a few weeks there. And then Ezra and I opened like maybe 8 to 10 packs each. I hit an epic card, which was just a floor card, but ended up selling it and being able to buy enough other cards to upgrade some of my better cards to a rare. Hit a common star platinum. He hit a bold Leonidas and maybe even like a dip wheeler. Like it only takes 1 week, man. It only takes 1 week. You just gotta keep putting yourself in a position to take bites at the apple, I feel like.
Yeah, it's definitely a marathon with this. I don't think being risky in terms of like burning and decks, it's not really the best strategy. Obviously, it's hard to resist that, but when you get into this, it's not something you get rich overnight. In the first week, you're not going to win right away, but it's consistent and just having a plan and just being disciplined over the long run that's where you're going to really be successful with fantasy.
Yep, very well said, man. So yeah, just those are my rewards for last week, and just kind of looking through the hero leaderboard, how everyone kind of figured out. We got Greg, as per usual, kind of leading there at the top of the charts. Has been maybe the strongest card in the history of the game, so you love to see that. Lucas Computer coming out of nowhere to finish second place, as only, I believe he was a 4-star card, so that's incredible. And then, underneath there, you've got either the usual suspects, ICO Beast, Bonk Guy, Tyler, or really some of the newer heroes that have just been so good. Naive, Star Platinum, Dip Wheeler, CRG, Fei Zhao, or Fei Zhu, however you say it. Ooh, excuse me.
Yeah, I
Just
think RWLK is a very underlooked hero in fantasy. Sometimes he's been with us for the longest and finishing ninth this week at a 4-star. And a lot of people don't know he's been a very active player since he started. So um, every now and then he mostly I think finishes what 40, 50 maybe, but he has that potential to get up there in the top 10.
Yeah, man. I mean, I got his chart pulled up right now, and he looks almost like DB esque, just not as he doesn't go nearly as low. Like you were saying, he might hit a 60th or 65th place, but then he pops back up to 18th or 11th or 11th again. He was third place a few weeks ago, ninth place this week. So, like, it's just there are so many like value heroes you can get where sure he might not score big every week, but when he does, he crushes it. I mean, because his some of his meme game is just so funny. So I think that's a great shout out, the RWLK right there, folks, if you're looking for kind of an undervalued pick.
Yeah, really, I like the heroes that tend to play and really understand the game. They understand the importance of showing up every week and tweeting.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get blanked, and they understand the importance of communication. And I think he's in one of the Cabal chats with the community, so he's very in tune with the players in the game. So those are my favorite.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, you said it perfectly right there. Like having players. I mean, obviously they should all have skin in the game. Knowing they get a portion of their marketplace volume and some other kind of kickbacks like that. So the better, like, it is such a great like incentive feedback loop. The better they perform, the more their cards are going to get traded, the higher volume they'll get, the more money they get back, and just keeps on kind of feeding back into itself. And I credit a lot of that to Carpenter and HK. Their onboarding show has been just super duper strong at getting some of these heroes. Just teaching them the basics, getting them really, like you said, putting some skin in the game. ICO Beast, Clemente, Vo, Bread Guy, Jesse Pollock, like these guys who, I mean, everyone I just named was basically a top 20 hero this week. And it's like if you're a hero in the game and you're not utilizing your presence on social media, you're leaving money on the table, which is just crazy to me.
Oh yeah, especially having that soulbound legendary. I mean, it gets you 20% of the way there if you're trying to compete in elite. So and then just the benefits. I mean, just building that kind of micro community around your own page.
Mm-hmm.
If you treat the Fantardios right, they treat you right, and it you know that flywheel it just kind of compounds over and over every week. And you'll see it. I think a lot of the heroes that are engaged with the community, um, their followings will not only grow but grow with a lot of quality followers and stuff, versus a bunch of AI slop and this and that. It's those connections that they can make. It benefits not only the KOLs but also the community just as equally. So uh, yeah, I think definitely underutilized by a lot of heroes, but it's something we're pushing on with the academy, with the deck building series. Um, making we want to make education fun. Learning isn't fun for a lot of people, so I feel the deck building series does a great job at that.
Yep. Yeah. Kudos, hats off, pats on the back for, like we said, for Carp and HK. They've onboarded a lot of really, really great personalities of the game. They've helped a lot of these heroes understand the basics and a lot of really the finer, more analytical elements. And yeah, I mean, the only like obviously I would much rather ICO Beast, for example, be involved in the game, play his own card. The only thing that makes me a little salty is that he does have that soulbound legendary, and God, what I wouldn't give to have one of those in my portfolio, dude.
Yeah, I mean ultimately that's what we want. We want especially fantasy players in the community to really grow to the point where they can become a hero and um, provide multiple avenues, for that, whether it's via clout or tactics or with this academy. I think being a premier creator within the academy ultimately will put you, in a proper position to become a hero just because you already have that kind of engagement feedback loop going. Um, and that's naturally kind of what we want being a creator to be as a hero. We want them to be the same. Um, so yeah, I think eventually once these are all going full speed, they're gonna really work well together. Um, and ultimately, it's players, heroes, creators. They're not like one above the other. They're all equal and all like it's like the three main core pieces of fantasy and how we're gonna be successful.
Yeah, man, I love that. And you didn't skate by it, but just everything you said there, all the different like systems that are in place from the core app, the free to play, cloud, like everything kind of works so well in concert with each other that like there's so many layers to understand here, whether you're a hero in the game or a player or a content creator kind of like myself, Carp, Ezrin, HK. Like I mean, you can make this a full-time job. Like, and I know there's a lot of people out there who whether they officially would say that or not, like, I've got the clout leaderboard pulled up since we're, after next week, we'll have some new heroes onboarded. And it looks like the number three hero that would be onboarded is Walls. Walls is an avid player, one of the top players in the game. And I feel like he's used that, the platform of being a good player to enhance his own social platform to the point where now he might be onboarded into the game. And like the positive effects of all of that, of really really digging your heels in and trying to be like an active participant in this ecosystem, you can't understate like what that's going to do for people.
No, yeah, and it's funny like well, when you kind of step back and look at kind of the progress, I guess just how everything it goes from being a player to kind of wanting the journey to becoming a hero. Very similar to actual sports that travel through for football. Pop Warner to high school to college, and you kind of it starts off as something fun and you just catching your interest, but slowly it becomes like a challenge, a goal you want to achieve, and you kind of just get caught up in that journey, and you see it with a lot of you know players and heroes and just CT in general. Um, the similarities, it just they constantly hit you in the face if you're very familiar with sports and fantasy and all of that. So that's why when you start to see that, and it's not fantasy and sports, it's not like there's a deep emotional level that comes in terms of like just being a fan, the communities around it, team building. There's a lot of intangible stuff that makes it you really special, and a lot of those, are here with fantasy as well.
Yeah. And I mean, another great point by you, man. Like it doesn't really make sense the deep connection that a lot of fans have with their sports teams, right? Like I mean, I know a lot of friends, both growing up like in, elementary, middle, high school, and even now as, full on adults with families, they care about their sports team more than they care about, their aunt or their uncle or their cousin. Like, that if anything good or bad happens to them, it's kind of like, whatever, things happen. But if the Ravens go out and they lay an egg on Sunday, that ruins their whole week, man. Like, and I think you see a lot of that kind of emotional connection, like you were talking about in fantasy. You know, when someone pulls a zero one week, like it really upsets people, and obviously, we don't want people to be upset, but I do view that as positive in a way because it shows how much they care, and that's important.
Yeah, no, there's it means a lot, um, and it's not always about the money or the winning, but just setting out to achieve something, having a plan and working towards that. And when you don't hit it, it hurts, but when you do it, it feels good. And when you show up to something every day, like Twitter, crypto Twitter, whether you want to or not, you're going to develop an emotional connection with just everything if you're showing up every day. So I think that's once you kind of realize that and you kind of understand what does make it special, then you kind of got to lean into that.
Oh yeah, man. This is I'll let everyone know. I was prepared to kind of fly solo a little bit today, but man, I'm so thankful you found some time in your schedule to join us because I feel like we're getting a different kind of insight that we've never gotten, right. We haven't been lucky enough to have Travis or Mikado on or Kippet on stream yet, but having a direct team member who really sees and understands the vision, how it all connects, how it relates to the existing fantasy infrastructure we know. This is, I mean, it's really insightful, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure even from the community perspective, some people are like, what the fuck? Why are we not focusing on the core game, tactics, out this and that? And but they do play into each other. They all play, a crucial role. Um, event as it goes, people will understand why and the role it plays. But there's and it's just hard to really, I could talk about this literally for days. I could go on because I literally think about it all day. So and it's hard to really put it onto paper or text, and it's not really enjoyable to do. So um, being able to talk about it definitely helps. Um, Definitely should do it more. I guess it's just hard. There's just a lot, I could go on. So just keeping it structured and not rambling for forever. But I mean, I just hope people understand, there's a lot of excitement, that no matter what, 24/7 when it comes to this is like, I wake up thinking about this, go to sleep thinking about it, think about it while I sleep. I literally like sleep in my office more times than not, like, and like I'm checking, kind of on, France time, waking up in the middle of the night, checking on things. So it's very bull market esque, kind of how we were, checking prices on NFTs and stuff. So it's fun. Yeah, I just like fantasy is like its own little NFT bull cycle to me.
Couldn't agree more, man. I know that's something Ezra and I we've we've been friends for nearly half a decade at this point, kind of meeting each other in Web3, and very thankful for that. And we've shared a lot of those nights together that you're referencing, right? Like there was a stealth mint that dropped at 11 p.m. and you're watching the volume go crazy for hours, out the wee hours of the morning, basically just kind of running off that adrenaline, and fantasy mimics a lot of that. We've had huge bull cycles where prices, they skyrocket up. We've had a little more some down cycles where some people have offboarded or kind of they're getting just a little antsy waiting for new things. But I feel like, and I've been convicted in this and said this for over a year now. Fantasy has never been in a better place with the card economy, the community of collectors and players, onboarding new heroes, partnerships with Monad, with Base. Like, if you don't like what you're seeing from the outside, maybe you need to clean off your glasses because this is all very, very bullish.
Yeah, it's just not the prototypical, crypto project launch. Um, it's very new, it's very risky, very experimental. Um, but I mean, if you kind of, you got to take risk. I mean, we're not here to build the next, 100 decks or the next NFT marketplace. There's a lot of hard extra work that comes with doing something like this. But I think there are a lot of people who do understand what this can be, and I think there are a lot of people that do understand what it can be, but they don't understand, that it is that yet. That fantasy is that thing that they're thinking about. Because I'll constantly see people talking about, oh, apps, if they do this, or the next big thing will be this, and I'm like, that's you're literally talking about fantasy. Uh, but it's just they either view it as like a social fi thing or info fi thing, and they maybe only know fantasy for clout or they only know it for monad. So kind of regrouping that identity, putting it all under fantasy, and be like, where to the point where people like they understand the parts of it and what we're going to be, the vision, how we try to explain. Then you see it. I've seen a lot of people that have been bearish on fantasy over the last 6-12 months, and with this move to base and a lot of the visibility and marketing and stuff and the updates that we're getting, they are flipping bullish. They're you know they're starting to understand what we're building here. Um, it's gonna be like an "I told you so" moment, but I'm just excited to just get that recognition finally across the space. Even then, we've always had people they know about fantasy and they respect it, they understand it, even if they don't play it. So I think we're kind of getting to that point. We just want to that point where everybody knows who fantasy is the ultimate goal.
Definitely. And, I feel like that's a great segue into another piece I wanted to bring up. We talked about it a couple weeks ago or, last week and even the week before that, once it was like officially kind of technically announced, however you want to say it. You got the Fantasy Academy, right? If you want to learn about the game and you want to find all of really, the brilliant content that's being created all in one place, Fantasy Academy is right here front and center for you. I mean, it's got all of the shows, that are consistently being produced. You've got Carpenter and Carpenter and HK's weekly deck building series front and center. You've got HK's kind of weekly strategy write-ups here. You've got me and Ezrin's Fantasy Top Down. We have Thread Guy, even some not necessarily a normal show we're used to, but Thread Guy always does really good streams. He hosted Kip It Mikado a little over a week ago. So you've got Fantardio, a little post here on all the tools he uses. The French Fantardios as well with Mehmeti, that's how you say it. I know he leads that. So they're like education, it's here. You have done a lot to really lead that education and that onboarding effort. And you can see the library here is already really nice and stocked, but week by week, it's only going to grow, man. So, kudos to you and super excited to see kind of where the Fantasy Academy goes and all the onboarding efforts it's going to bring.
Yeah, I think this is probably the thing I'm most excited about. I mean, not just only from an educational onboarding, perspective, it helps a lot, but there's just so much potential with this. And when you have a project like this, where so many different people can make so much unique content on it, and not the same AI thread articles over and over about the basics. Like there's constantly new stuff happening in fantasy, and that's where you kind of understand where it's its own ecosystem by itself, and that kind of entertainment value that it delivers, where you can create more entertainment on top of it. And that's when I kind of understood that this could be something special. It's very simple right now. We just got it started, but it's the goal, aside from onboarding and making education easier and more digestible for new players, also make it entertaining. But I'm sorry, I just blanked. But yeah, just making the education fun, and then also just providing enough, just continuous content, because once the tournament starts, it's kind of, we want more stuff for players to do on a daily basis, something to look forward, not only Monday, but also Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like wake up, there's something coming for fantasy that will help you get better for your decks and stuff, and find those those creators within the community that can make and share special stuff that helps other people grow.
That's amazing. I mean, that's alpha right there, folks. We have some of that already, but doubling down on it, layering in more and more is only going to help players who really put in the time and effort to read and watch these videos get better, as well as onboarding, really the next era, the next generation of fantasy top players. So couldn't be happier to hear that, and also obviously to be a part of it myself. Very very proud to kind of be featured here alongside Ezrin, who's in the chat. Um, so yeah, we're super happy, and with that, I kind of wanted to shout out another post that our friend Carpenter had, where he was officially announced as the formal fantasy academy lead, with his big smile right here that we've come to know and love. So huge ups and congrats to Carpenter. He deserves all the success. He's such a great not delegate, but a great just a great face to have, in this onboarding and academy effort. So absolutely massive get by both the team and Carpenter. So well done there, and super excited to see how he builds all this out and works with the existing creators to make all of our content even better.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch Carpenter grow. He's really kind of just exploded out of his comfort zone with this, and the deck building series and fantasy top down. You guys were the top two inspirations for the academy, just from the quality of the content, but also the consistency to show up every week, just for the love of the game. That's where it all the seed kind of started. And like if fantasy is special enough where people will just make content, not for points or for a token or for a leaderboard, but just because they have fun doing it, it makes it a lot easier to set something like this up. Um, and then it hasn't formally been announced, but eventually we're kind of working on getting this set up. But Carpenter and Silva will kind of be the main cogs of the academy and kind of helping me get this really going. There's no shot I could do this all by myself. But you two, you guys showed up every single week, every single day. With no expectations other than just sharing and doing it, and you've done an amazing job. So allowing you guys to, grow and really kind of not only yourselves, but also, other people around you in this academy, I think it's going to be very exciting and super appreciate. There's not a lot of communities where you can ask or, kind of, get that support from and to pull things off like this. Most projects, they're gonna have to like outsource it, and like there's outsourcing something like this in terms of content creation where people don't understand the game or show up for it. It makes zero sense at all. Um, so elevating those within the community to bigger roles, within fantasy to be, heroes, just to grow their pages as in general, because we've seen it, with how kind of HK blew up, Bandit, ICO, like it happens, and those who show up every day not only deserve it, but they're gonna get it eventually. And so we want to help make that happen as soon as possible.
Yeah, man. I mean, I, there's no words that I can say outside of thank you. You and the team have given us the platform to do this. You've encouraged us. You've had our backs the entire way. So, like you said, we didn't come here with any expectation. Still don't have any expectation. We're here, truly because we love this game. We believe in it. We think, like I said, Ezra and I, we've seen just about every Web3 project that's come crashing and burning down to the floor. And this, we both felt, almost from day one, this is something special. This has the secret sauce that can really make it. It's a super unique product. And yeah, just excited and happy to be here and to be a part of all this. So yeah, onward and upward with fantasy, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. And if you're listening and still wondering about the academy, it's a good opportunity. It's not something that gets handed. We want people who have, like Silva and Carpenter, have showed up every week, they'll get kind of priority, and we'll kind of, we just want everybody to grow, to have fun. I mean, that's all it comes down to, really. We got a lot of amazing creators who are going to start doing their own kind of niche, kind of like topics, and really kind of just make it a big thing. So I think the curation of the topics and the content that's coming to the academy, along with being able to organize and allow you guys to search and find what you're looking for all different skill levels, bankrolls, where you're at in your fantasy careers. That's the ultimate goal. So it's going to take a little bit, but it's getting closer. And if you want to be a part of it, just stop by the Discord. But yeah, super excited these next 6 months.
Wee! And yeah, folks, like 710 says, stop by the Discord or feel free, send me a DM, ping me in the fantasy server here on Twitter. I'm always happy to chat, share anything I can, whether that's resources for creating videos like this, or you need someone to hop on a show for an episode or two to just help you, get the training wheels off, and just need someone to have a little back and forth with. I'm an open book, happy to share anything and everything that I've learned on this journey. And yeah, like 710 says, we want every fantasy top creator to feel empowered to build and to create. And yeah, I mean, it's like you guys have gone about it all the right way. You've built, you test, you build, you fix, and yeah, it's just it's great to see it all play out. Now, I know we are approaching kind of the end of our time here, and I want to, don't want to keep you too long. So I had just one or two more things I wanted to point out to our crowd here. Outside of Carpenter's big announcement coming on as the official lead again, GG's, bro. He also has an incredible video planned with none other than the newest fantasy hero, Jesse Pollock. Him, it'll be another kind of a special episode of the deck building series with Jesse. You'll have Carpenter and HK there. We said it earlier. Jesse's just one of the best mouthpieces you can ask for in crypto. So seeing him on there, I'm not going to say he's going to splurge 100 ETH on cards, but I would not be surprised to see him kind of go in maybe a little bit heavier than a new player might, just really building out a great deck. Like, we know if he has his Soulbound Legendary, he already has 20% of an insane elite lineup. So I am super excited to tune into that on Monday, August 4th. So mark your calendars, folks. Monday, 2 p.m. EST. We're getting Jesse, and we're getting him into Fantasy Top.
Yeah, that one's going to be fun. Super excited for that. And I think, that's just being on base has been so awesome. Being able to have, the founder of base, Jesse, be so engaged with the community and be willing to come on stream right away. Like, literally, it's like, 1-2 weeks after we, and he's obviously extremely busy with everything going on, but the enthusiasm is definitely infectious. So looking forward to that. We'll get a post up for everybody. But yeah, August 4th for Jesse, and it'll be interesting to see what heroes he decides to choose. If he chooses any Solana heroes or something like that.
Brian Armstrong might fire him on the spot if that happens.
Yeah. But if you have any questions for Jesse that you would like asked, shoot them to Carpenter or throw them in Discord. We're kind of collecting, and we'll try and get some fun and safe questions for him to answer. And then, yeah, I think I also Grant's USDC that went out. I missed the message, so I'll spit that out before we close.
Oh boy, here I go degenning into more packs.
So good timing for those going into the week. And then we will be announcing the Jesse Pollock Legendary winner today, I believe. Might post it tomorrow, we'll see. But we'll get a thread out with the winner and some other things. But yeah, and then that's I know there were some concerns with the Legendary Jesse card. That will be soulbound. so we're not going to nuke any leagues or values or anything. Um, but it will be playable and obviously extremely useful. So, but we'll make that announcement today, tomorrow at the latest.
Amazing. Oh man, what a just slew of alpha there to end out the show. We've got the Jesse Pollock legendary coming to a community member who went through, did all those follow the steps on the Twitter post. USDC is officially out for the previous grant winners. Man, it is a great day in fantasy top, ladies and gentlemen. You've got rewards, you've got community kind of coming together. Oh, I I mean I couldn't ask for anything better. 710, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you taking the time again to be here and really just sharing your thoughts, sharing a lot of your story, sharing, your elementary school DGen days. So thank you, brother, for your time. Any parting words here for, your community of fervent Fantardios?
No, no, just excited to do it again next week and have a good weekend, everyone.
Yes, sir. Same here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for stopping by for another exciting and really just fantastic episode of Fantasy Top Down. Thank you for everyone in the chat. Appreciate you guys stopping by, dropping questions. Christian, Ezrin, Toast, Esso, Mr. S, Ebum, Jacob, Cap, Enormous James, D Pharma, Blue the Dragon, Poopaloop. Thank you all. Very lively crowd. Onwards and upwards with Fantasy Top, ladies and gentlemen. Until next week, I've been Silva Surger, and that was Mr. 710, and we will see you all next time on Fantasy Top Down.